Yeah, I know. Well, that's not the crazy part. See, we get out of the car, right? And this guy's tripping balls like big time. So we have to pull the body out of the trunk and. Oh, shit, I gotta go. My freaking audience is here. Yeah, I'll call you back later. Right. So hey everybody, Tekking here. I've had a bit of a busy day so far, so wasn't really planning on doing a video, but I love you guys a lot. So here's something special. I was tagged over my Twitter a few days ago by a guy named Tyler Hawk to do the One Piece Pirate Crew challenge tag, whatever they're calling it. I don't know. You damn kids these days with your tags. You know, back in my day, we had the original anime tags. This was a lot harder than it initially seemed, too. It seems like rather simple. Like, oh man, yeah, pick out your pirate crew and you can do whatever and it'll be fun, right? You know how many fucking characters there are in this freaking series? Yeah, there's a shit ton. And you can even include non-canon characters and characters that got freaking fisted through the torso. So that it extends the range quite a bit, although there are some rules. The basic rules are as such, and I honestly would have preferred a few more clarification rules because I just like to be particular, because the only real rule that forbids you from adding characters to your crew are adding Yonko, so you can't like throw, oh yeah, Shanks and Whitebeard, aced. Yeah, okay, we'll throw Ace in there too, but mostly Shanks and Whitebeard. No, you can't do that. But then you start thinking, you know, there's a lot of characters that aren't necessarily Yonko, but are at Yonko level, like Rayleigh, for instance, or like, here's Garp and Sengoku, you know, like, I didn't want to do that. I didn't want to do that a little bit too overkill. But the general plan is to have 6 people on your crew that are fighters, and then 6 people that are support characters, and then you as the captain, and you can have a devil fruit of your own choosing. I guess it can be a devil fruit in the story, or it can be your own creation, or you don't have to have a devil fruit. But let's get started, I guess. I am the captain of this awesome crew. Now, you don't have to have a devil fruit power, but I wanted a devil fruit power. I mean, come on now. I thought about maybe, hey, I could be maybe a hockey-based fighter. But no. I figure I'm a rather scrawny fuck. You know, I'm pretty string beanie here, you know? So, it would be cool. That was weird. Yeah, okay. Whatever. We can make this a thing. Yeah, that seems fun. But, not really much in terms of combat, you know? So I thought, okay, I have to have a good Devil Fruit ability that can make me stand with the best of them, especially since the people I picked for my crew, I have to have an ability that'll at least, you know, make me sort of badass on the same level of these people, and when I'm fighting someone, I won't immediately fucking die. I actually did have a Devil Fruit idea a long time ago, like my original, like OC character had a Devil Fruit ability, and it was the Mirror no Mi. And, yeah. You know what? You know what pissed me off? It's not that Oda did incorporate it into the series and I'm like, oh, my super clever idea is now stolen. No. I would have been fine with that if it was actually used by a badass character, like, oh, here's a new warlord that has it, or here's one of the top echelon in the Yonko that's got the mirror fruit, and they could do all this crazy stuff with it. You know who ended up getting it? Some old fucking bat that lives out in the woods. Straight out of freaking Hansel and Gretel or whatever, okay? The freaking Brule is the one that gets the Mirror no Mi powers, and she's basically used as a punching bag. She's used as a freaking... She's the bus. She's transport. She's just in a freaking... She's tied up in a freaking knapsack, and the crew is just using her as a freaking transport. That's all they're doing. So, yeah, I had to come up with a different idea. So here's what I came up with. The counter fruit. That's right, the counter fruit. So, whenever someone comes at me with a badass attack that would nuke me in one hit, I can send out a similar attack at that exact instance to counter whatever they're doing. You know, freaking Mihawk steps out, super ultimate slash, I can, like, wave my hand or something and send out a similar slash, and it gets clashed in the air. So I won't get one shot by something stupid, like Eneru sees me and just, like, lightning bolt, you're dead. I'm like, no, fuck you, bitch, lightning bolt duo, you know? Meets in the middle. Now, the main issues with this fruit is I'm either going to win the fight or it's going to end in like an infinite stalemate, and I can't counter things like physical advantages that they have, like if they're, you know, train their body to be a little bit more muscular so they're faster, or they have more stamina, then yeah, I can't counter that. So if they're fast enough that I can't react to things, that could still bode as dangerous to me. Also, the fact that if I'm fighting a Logia type, like if I am fighting Eneru, I might be able to counter his attacks and send them back at him but he's made out of lightning, so me taking a lightning attack and then countering it and sending back my own lightning attack, that's not really going to matter much. It's really rather going to fight at a stalemate there. So I would also have to train my observation hockey to the point where I could be aware of my surroundings really well. But yeah, counter fruit. I imagined it like whatever character I'm fighting that I can actually physically see, I can counter their techniques. You know, so that way I don't have to actually, like if I'm fighting someone with a sword, I don't actually have to have a sword. I can counter the sword with like just my arm or something. I can counter the same amount of like power or slicing ability as the sword, and I can just mimic that with my own body. But it doesn't work like storage. Like, I can't just whip out lightning attacks. Like, okay, I fight Eneru and I countered him, and then a week later I can use lightning abilities against another opponent. That's not how it works. It's only against the opponent I'm actually physically fighting. But I could see that being a really interesting fruit. If you learn how to take advantage of it, I might be able to use it more than just simply, you know, blocking attacks or parrying attacks. I might, you know, if I trained observation enough, I might actually be able to land some decisive hits if I use it smart enough. So that's my devil fruit, the counter no mi. Okay, so as for my actual crew, okay, I'll do the fighters first. The first fighter on my crew, it actually is remarkable because I didn't think much of this character when I first initially, he's from a movie, so it's non-canon, but I thought this guy would be immensely useful for not just his physical strength, but also the fact of his knowledge and a unique ability, not really an ability, but a unique weapon that he has that nobody else in the series have shown to have. And I am talking, of course, of Zephyr from the movie Film Z. Alright, what do you got? Okay, Zephyr used to be a former Marine admiral. Not only that, but he used to be the guy that trained the current admirals, as in Kizaru and Aokiji and Akainu. You know, he was their mentor, right? So he's getting a little bit on in age, but as the movie Film Z has showed us, he's a badass, okay? Yeah, so bottom line is you don't screw with him, okay? He's been in the Marines for years, and he defected the Marines. He's not really a pirate, he's just a defector, but considering we're the pirate crew trying to outsmart the Marines, those are the ones we're probably going to be fighting more often than not to become king of the pirates. Having a guy that knows the deep, intricate knowledge of that organization would be very useful. Also, he's the only character that's ever used sea prism stone bullets. Now, Beige alluded to the fact that those actually exist, but the only one that's ever actually been shown using a gun that can fire sea prism stone bullets was Zephyr in the movie Film Z. So just for that fact alone, and the fact that he is, you know, used to fighting devil fruit users, I think his strength would be immensely useful on this crew. So my first fighter is definitely Zephyr, also just for pure strength and the fact he also used hockey. Next one is going to be Jinbei. You know, I was considering Fisher Tiger if dead characters are allowed, but you know what? Jinbei has really proven himself in this last arc. You know, he really jumped up a bunch of ranks for me. He wasn't always I didn't really care for him all that much, but I do tend to really like his character now. So, one of the issues that Roger brought up when he did his list is you don't want to have characters that have, like, nothing but... you don't want to have a crew of nothing but devil fruit users, because you fall in the water and you're screwed. So, Jinbei, freaking Fishman, incredibly adept at fighting in the water on top of using water-based techniques. He also has the armament hockey that he can use to damage devil fruit users, and he can also use, he's probably the most adept at using Fishman Karate, which is a very unique fighting style that a lot of people just don't have at their disposal. You know, so not a lot of people are going to know the inner workings of Fishman Karate. So having that would be extremely useful. Also, I tend to prize intelligence above everything else on this crew. I think intelligence is extremely useful on top of having badass characters, but I also really do prize intelligence. And Jinbei is an extremely intelligent person. And also, being a fishman just by... I almost said merman. Freaking 4Kids dub is brainwashing me. But just being a fishman, having the ability to talk to other sea creatures and being able to navigate the ocean, like if you get lost, you could just be like, hey, whale sharks, which way do we go? Okay, thanks. You know, there we go. So a little bit of a navigation aspect from Jinbei, most certainly. Next up, Mihawk. You know, I was gonna put Zoro on there, but I already had another Straw Hat. I didn't want to have more than one Straw Hat on there on this crew, although Jinbei might probably most likely be joining the Straw Hat crew, but it's not official yet, so I can squeak by with it. But I figure, why have Zoro when you can have the best? And let's be honest here, Mihawk is still the best. Mihawk is still very much the world's greatest swordsman, even more adept than Zoro at this moment. I mean, I'm sure we're gonna get a badass fight between them and the end of the series, but right now Zoro, you can take the back burner. Mihawk is truly the master here. Once again, very intelligent. Also, Zoro, kind of a liability on the whole direction thing. Mihawk, he can walk in a straight line without getting lost, so already that's a big bonus right there. Intelligent guy, prefers to work alone, but that's fine, that's chill, and the greatest swordsman in the world, capable of, you know what? Not only does he have great strength, but he also can keep that arrogance in check a little bit. You know, being the world's greatest swordsman, you think there might be an ego to go along with that, and you don't really get to see that too much with Mihawk. You had the scene where he kind of like stepped up to fight against Whitebeard just to see how far like Whitebeard was in terms of power, and so he was like one of the first people at Marineford to launch an attack. But he doesn't let that world's greatest swordsman thing go to his head. He's not like, I'm the greatest, so I can kill all of you, no problem. I'm just going to charge in into attack. No, he's very cautious of his surroundings, and he knows when he's outmatched. He tries to attack Whitebeard. His attack was deflected by Jozu. He immediately, like, sheaths his sword and sits the fuck back down. And he's like, all right, I just wanted to test it, just wanted to see where we're at right now. Also, I just like Mihawk as a character. I just like to sit around and bullshit with him, you know, kind of like how Shanks and Mihawk just kind of chill out there. And, hey, he bested Shanks, probably, at some point, right? I mean, the duel was pretty epic. I'm sure they maybe even had more than one duel. But yeah, that was kind of a no-brainer to throw Mihawk on there. Next up is going to be Rob Lucci. I picked 3 fighters that do have Devil Fruit abilities and 3 fighters that don't. Lucci. So, on top of being an assassin and having, you know, espionage training and, you know, skilled assassination skills, you can move around quickly without being detected or anything like that. Spying on people, very useful. Also, you know what he is? He's a shipwright. Yeah, he trained at Galila for 5 years. He is a legitimate bona fide shipwright, so if the ship gets busted, Lucci can fix it. He totally can. It was part of their undercover job to attempt to kill Iceberg and get the plans to Pluton, but he took that, and the rest of the crew as well, like Kaku took it very seriously. They trained to become legitimate shipwrights, so they were on the same level as, like, Paulie and Tilestone and you know, on that level. Maybe not as great of a shipwright as, like, Frankie or Iceberg were, but still certainly good enough to be the shipwright on a pirate crew. He could handle himself. You know, now, he does have a little bit of an ego. He does get a little bit crazy, especially when he goes into his leopard mode. Chopper mentioned that carnivorous zone types tend to be a little bit more bloodthirsty, so there is that aspect of it. But also that he also has the 6 powers at his disposal, on top of having his Devil Fruit abilities. And even in the movie Film Gold, I think he had armament hockey in that movie when he was fighting Sabo. I think he's armament hockey. So that's the case. Also, by the way, getting Lucci also means you're going to get Hattori kind of like as a package deal. And so Hattori could be the ship pet, and he could chill out, and we could, you know, have a cute little pigeon friend flying around. So that's always nice. You need a pet on the crew. You need it. But yeah, Lucci, espionage, freaking shipwright, carnivorous zone, unique skills, and martial arts. I mean, that's the whole package right there. Also, once again, extremely intelligent. Alright, so who's next on the list? Oh, it's gonna be Ace Boy! That's who! Oh, yes! Portgas D. Ace. Now, despite the fact that I constantly make jokes about him getting fisted right through the stomach, lava style, that Cayenne Pepper will change his attitude, I guarantee. No, he is truly, truly an amazing fighter. And honestly, looking back, the serious fights that he's been in, not very many. He fought against Smoker in Alabasta. That was kind of a stalemate, but he wasn't using his full power. The only battle he's been in where he used full power was against Blackbeard. And there was a problem there, not just because of Blackbeard's ability to nullify his Devil Fruit, But also that Ace was so embroiled with rage in that battle because he wanted to revenge for his crewmate, revenge for Thatch, and I think that maybe affected him a little bit. He might have been a little bit more cautious about that ability if he wasn't consumed with trying to kill Teach just for the sake of his fallen crew member. He's been chasing him for so long. But aside from that, he's never really been in a really serious fight, except for with that pink-haired wizard brat. We don't talk about him. But no, he got freed at Marineford. He had a little bit of a scuffle with, like, Aokiji and stuff, but it didn't really go anywhere. So we didn't really get to see what he was fully capable of against an opponent other than Blackbeard. But I think he would be a definite, really helpful crew member here, being a Logia. You know, he also has the ability to fly, in a sense, short distances anyway. Flight is a very integral thing. But definitely an easy choice there for the crew. And the last member doing the duplicate with, doing the exact opposite of fire, we're going with ice to Aokiji. Now, Rogers selected Kizaru and Fujitora, which I think were pretty solid picks. But I gotta go with Aokiji, just because, number one, I love his personality. He's a really laid-back guy to kind of just chill out with, you know, on the crew. You know, keep in mind, not just characters that are going to be able to fight with you. We fight together, but also you're going to be staying with these guys. You're going to be sleeping with next to them. So it's kind of nice to pick ones that you can maybe talk to. I can see myself chilling out with Ace and Aokiji. You know, Aokiji and Ace might not even be, like, we didn't really see them have any bad blood between each other. They could get along fairly well, or whatever. Zephyr might have some problems with them, but we're not here to balance this emotional or personality-wise. But anyway, yeah. Aokiji's ability to freeze the actual ocean, I think, absolutely indispensable. Oh my god, there's an entire fleet of shits headed towards! We're screwed! Ice Age. Oh, okay, we're good. Thanks, Aokiji, we're good. We can freeze their ships, lock them in place, and we can either fight them on ground or we can just escape, one of the two. Alright, so those are my fighters right there. Zephyr, Jinbei, Mihawk, Lucci, Ace, and Aokiji. Now moving on to some of my support crew. Now keep in mind that even with support, we're still talking about characters that can still fight at least a little bit. They're just not like the full fighting force, like the main fighting force, the Vanguard unit that we're going to implement here in this crew. But here are the 6 members that I picked for my support. Number 1, Bartolomeo. He has literally an indestructible barrier that he is capable of summoning indefinitely. Now, there's a limit to how big this surface area of this barrier can be, but we've seen time and time again that, you know, as long as he has a barrier up, literally nothing can get through. Okay, it is an indestructible barrier as far as we're aware of. Also, you can, you know, form it into a bunch of different shapes. I'm going to take this hat off now. Okay, that's enough, Matt. You can take off the hat. You can form it into a bunch of different shapes, like stairs and certain things to just deflect really specific attacks and stuff like that. Not something that you can use to really, like I said, there's limited surface area, so you can't exactly make a super giant wall, but like I said, that's what we have Aokiji for. Also, if nothing else, just as like a worst-case scenario failsafe, you have an indestructible shield that you could call on anytime you want. If shit's getting really bad, you have the ability to just block any attack with that ability. So, extremely useful there. Plus, Luffy's not on the crew, so he won't be constantly fanboying. We'll be good. Yeah, I had to make sure not to put Luffy on this crew, so he could stay focused on the objective at hand here. Alright, now we come to the next support character. Look, you have to have a doctor on your crew. Okay, you gotta have a doctor. And you got like 3 viable characters in all of One Piece that are doctors that can also, you know, fight for themselves, that can actually become not a detriment while they're on the crew. You know, you don't want somebody that's just a doctor and nothing else, and then as soon as a fight breaks out, if they get killed, you're screwed. You got Chopper, you got Kureha, who I considered, and then you got Law. And I'm sorry, but I gotta go with Law. I know pretty much everybody probably picked Law. I know Roger picked Law, but come on, you gotta have Law on your crew. He's a doctor and he can fight. Although, looking back at the serious fights he's been in, he doesn't always do too well. Against underlings, he's okay, but against characters like, you know, Doflamingo got the shit beat out of him. I mean, yeah, he was able to take out Treble, but that was like rare circumstances where his arm was severed with his sword in hand, and Treble was kind of being an arrogant prick and didn't really pay attention to what was going on, so that was very rare circumstances. Fought against Virgo, he beat him in that fight, but also a main drawback with his Op Nomi is that it drains his stamina. So the more he uses it throughout a fight, you know, if he can't be in like a really serious fight with like a huge, like a main, like Yonko kind of type, because the more he has to use his devil fruit, the more stamina gets, you know, drained from him, and the less useful he's gonna be. So as a doctor, he's indispensable. And he can also manage to, like, you know, oh shit, there's an attack coming, room, shambles, and then move the attack around and kind of divert things, and also very intelligent. So that's why I go to Law. I don't really have to mention why I'm using Law here. Also, an ability that I love that he has that he never really used outside of Punk Hazard was his ability to swap personalities. Because if you're fighting against a crew of people like, oh, we're attacking you. Okay, room, shambles, move your personalities around. Be like, oh, wait, what the fuck? And then you attack while everyone's super confused. So that would be a pretty handy way of taking out a crew of extremely strong motherfuckers, you know, to swip their personalities around. They don't know what's going on, and then you attack them when they have no idea how to use their respective bodies that they've been put into. So yeah, I gotta use Law there. Next up, okay, this was the one straw hat I put on here. It had to be. Come on now. You all know who this is. Yeah. It was Usopp, totally. No, of course, it's Robin. I gotta have Robin on the crew. I mean, she is like, I'm making a video about her soon. She's my favorite female in the entire story. And you know what? It's not just all about the tits. Okay, she can also cook rather well, and having, you know, her devil fruit ability would be very handy in cooking meals for the crew, so that would be nice. But also, you know, I just hang out with her. Just be like, you know, hey, Robin, do you want to have an intellectual conversation about, like, philosophy or something? Like, and history? I love history. So, that would be a total, I mean, it's for me. I'm not even going to sit here and lie. Like, yeah, she's a badass fighter and support, you know, she can, you know, rather well there. But, yeah, I just want to have Robin on the crew. I just want to talk to Robin, okay? Just don't take this away from me. It's my dream pirate crew, all right? Okay, my fourth support character. You might laugh at this at first, but it's going to make a lot of sense. Are you ready? Caesar Clown. Okay, I know what you're thinking. He's a little annoying, and you would be right. He is. Also has a little bit of an ego, but that's okay. He's a scientist that knows chemistry and has the ability to literally alter gases. He can fly, for one, using his ability, which is very handy, but he can do all this crazy shit with chemistry. He can make weapons. Okay, actual effective, long-range, mass area-affecting gas weapons. Like, hey, Caesar, there's an entire fleet of pirate ships heading our way. Could you whip up some sort of Zyklon B poisonous gas bomb? Oh, shoot. Here you go. Awesome. Hey, Zephyr, chuck it at them with your super-powered right arm. Awesome. Oh, my God. Okay, entire fleet wiped out. All right, Robin, let's have some dinner. Like, it would be awesome. It would be so awesome to have him. You know, you could just whip up all these crazy, bizarre weapons that could deal massive damage. I don't care about taking some lives. I want to be king of the pirates. I'm going to get my hands a little bloody in this venture. I'm not as virtuous as Luffy. I'm sorry. Some heads are going to roll with Captain Tekking at the helm. All right? And I'm a little bit of an erratic guy too, so I would be coming up with crazy ideas like, hey, Caesar, could you make a, I don't know, some sort of weapon that has people, I don't know, has their ears explode or something so they can't hear something. That might be useful to have. Oh, sure, I'll come up with something. Here you go. I'm like, yeah, this could work, yeah. It would be fun to have him around. Also, him and Law could maybe cook up some things. Law being the doctor and him being a scientist. Caesar would be indispensable to have. Come on now. The stuff that he could cook up, the crazy mad science, as long as he doesn't manage to blow the ship up, he could become a rather useful character. Although, I have to say, all the death weapons that he has created do kind of a shitty job at killing people. But whatever. And I'm not talking about kill. Just severely mutilate, you know, like burn their skin off or something. Like, you know, could you make a string of like the Zika virus to infect these people so we can, you know, beat them? He's like, yeah, you could come up with something. He'll be fine. Okay, so Caesar Clown, right? All right, just yeah. All right, so the fifth member of the support crew is going to be Perona. That's right, Perona, Ghost Girl. Her ability entirely underrated, I feel. So not only is it the perfect reconnaissance ability, Okay, guys, we gotta infiltrate this enemy stronghold. Aw, shit. It's locked up tighter than a nunnery. It's got like a legion of armed guards patrolling 24/7. They got attack in, and they got attack dogs ready to go. We don't know the layout of the place. Oh, it's okay. I'll just summon some of these ghosts that can pass through solid objects, that can, report back to me about what's going on, and that can also pass through people and cause them to immediately become essentially useless. Like, I'll go and get the layout of the place, figure out what's going on, and then I'll also use my ability to cause all the guards out front to become, oh my god, I'm so freaking useless. I'm just lower than a sea slug, just kill me now. And then that's when Caesar whips up the face-melting gas, and and then I walk in, and we all walk in laughing maniacally. And then Caesar's like, and then Law is just like, the fuck am I part of this crew? But it would be fun, so yeah, her ability completely, entirely useful, even if it's not like infiltration, just the ability to cause pretty much no matter how strong the opponent is, to become completely useless. I mean, come on now. Even if it's only for a few seconds, her ability doesn't seem to last that long. They feel depressed and they just seem to get over it. But that's just 1 or 2 seconds of an opportunity that we can take to attack. So very useful is Perona. I feel like she's a little bit underrated. The last person for the support crew I picked is a member of the Worst Generation. And his ability is also very useful, very unique ability that we haven't really seen that much in the One Piece story. It's going to be Basil Hawkins. Now, Hawkins has a unique fortune-telling ability, and his fortune-telling usually works about how he can determine what your percentage for attacking an enemy is. He can be like, all right, chance of victory, 72%, chance of defeat, 28%, chance of escape, 82%, chance of evasion. He could determine all this stuff with his cards, so we know what we're going. We kind of know the stats of the fight before we actually get into the fight. Also, he can't really die. I mean, he can, but he has like extra lives he can do with his voodoo dolls. In terms of a straight up fight, he might not be that useful, because we saw him fight against Kizaru. Granted, it was Kizaru, but he didn't really stand up to him that much. His ability didn't really seem that useful in full-on direct combat, but his fortune-telling ability, I think, is absolutely indispensable in this crew. The ability to, I mean, his personality might be a little bit too emo to get close to, but, like, him being able to be like, we're gonna get into a battle today, or, fighting against that Yonko crew, our chance of victory is only 58%, so take it what you leave it, Captain, that sort of thing. Very useful ability. Not really, and it's the only person that we've really seen having this kind of fortune-telling ability, so gotta have him on there. Okay, so that is my pirate crew. Just to go over it again, I'm the captain. I have the counter know me. My fighters are Zephyr, Jinbei, Mihawk, Lucci, Ace, and Aokiji. Lucci also doubling as a shipwright. Our support is Bartolomeo, Law as the doctor, Robin also doubling as the cook, Caesar, Perona, and Hawkins. So that's my pirate crew. I think it would be fun. Little bit kind of crazy, especially mad scientist-y, but I think we would get the job done. We might have to, cause some mass genocide along our path, but we might get the job done. We'll become Pirate King. Yeah, we'll do it by any means necessary. Yeah. Okay. Also, I just thought of something cool. Caesar, gas bomb, Ace, fire. Oh my god, we could light this whole sucker up. That'll be great. Right, so tagging time. If anybody here has been tagged, then I apologize, but a lot of people have already been tagged in this already. Okay, so first up is Codeprovider. So there you go. I know he's really into One Piece, so he'll probably have fun with this. He's a funny dude. Next up is Chibi Reviews. Yeah, Chibi. You know what I'm talking about. Yeah, the other day, in that conversation that we've never had because we never talked to each other, period, you know what I'm talking about. You're on this. You got this. And then finally, this person's not a reviewer, but they do One Piece-based content, and I think I've spoken to them. If I haven't spoken to them before, they've definitely been in my streams before. Too Spooky. I'm going to tag Too Spooky. Because you see, I know he likes to do One Piece based content, like the top 10 lists and everything. Not a reviewer, but I think he would have fun with this. So Too Spooky, Codeprovider, and Chibi Reviews. Get on that. Okay, hope you guys enjoyed the video. I also hope you don't think I'm some sort of like crazy serial arsonist or something. I'm just looking at, hey, I mean, you know, I gotta fight against Yonko. You know, Luffy's like, he takes the approach of like, I don't like to kill people, but sometimes you gotta cap a bitch, you know what I'm saying? So having the assassins and the guy that can create death gas, I think that's just a given. So yeah, hope you guys enjoyed the video. This will be Tekking101 signing out. Later, guys.